Welcome, my friends. My name is Marissa. If you're new to my channel, welcome here. A little bit about me. My intention and my purpose is to help others connect with the voice of their soul, with their highest wisdom in order to actualize and just realize their soul's intention for taking birth this time around. And in so doing, we naturally become more joyful, more carefree, more authentic, more free to just exist and to really have the confidence and conviction to go out and do the things that we were designed to do in this life. So, very excited to be sharing space with you guys today. There are 3 aspects to these readings we're diving into. Every reading, or every pile I should say, has the overall theme for the month of December, as well as any highlights or milestones you can look forward to, as well as areas of growth or challenges, okay? So there are 3 groups to choose from today. Here are your selections. And whenever you're feeling ready, we're gonna hop right into these readings. Hey, group number 1, welcome to your December energy reading. Very excited to get into this with you. We have 3 aspects we're diving into today, the overall theme for the month ahead, any highlights or milestones you could look forward to, as well as areas of challenge or growth. So we're gonna just hop right into it. Just keep in mind too that if you are interested in breathing with me, I am now accepting private one-on-one breath and meditation sessions, as well as longer breathwork journeys in general, where deep transformational things can occur. So if you are interested in that, check it out. I would love to breathe with you and to pass on these gifts and techniques to help cultivate our consciousness. That's what this game is all about, right? So I'll leave that there and we'll get right into this reading. So overall theme, please. So those guides that are overseeing the souls drawn to group number 1, please tell us what the overall theme is for the month of December for them. Overall theme for the month of December. Okay. So for group number 1, any highlights or milestones they can expect? Highlights and milestones. Okay. And areas of challenge or growth for group number 1. What are the areas of challenge or growth? All right. And we have cards for clarification. Let's get right into this. So the overall theme for group number 1 in December, we have protection, guardian, drop your shields. And we have lady, enjoy growth and reap rewards. So things are going good. There's nothing to worry about. You guys might have some sort of degree of stress right now, where you feel like things aren't going according to your plan, but your guides are really coming through and saying things are going according to the soul's plan. Maybe not the plan of the limited self, which needs a certain degree of like confirmation and validation externally in order to feel like things are going well. But I'm just getting the sense that, enjoy where you're at, enjoy what you've created so far. And that part of why you continue to like push is because, it's a sense of feeling like if you're not, it's a control thing, and it's a mistrust in the universe is the message for December, to really lean into trusting it, into knowing that you are divinely protected, knowing that when we're trying to force things to happen on our own timeline, it can kind of get in the way of not only enjoying the experience, but in the entire journey, but it can get in the way of like something even better presenting itself, because if we're so focused on like how we think it should look, we're not able to see like new opportunities, new doorways. Like even on the level of like the brain, that's a thing. We have what's known as a reticular activating system, where like based off of what we expect to happen or what we're anticipating, we will like create a funnel in our everyday lives to where we're like looking for things to confirm that, or to that like are in coherence with that current narrative. So I hope this is making sense. It's like staying open and knowing that releasing a sense of stress and rigidity and tension from the body as well as what I'm hearing. And just taking care of yourself, being grounded, and, enjoying how far you've come, and enjoying if things do start to come in easier for you, to know that you deserve that, and to not this is not me about to say don't self-sabotage, but because I know it's a lot deeper than that, but I feel like this is to let it unfold and know that you're worthy of it, to know that you deserve the great things that are coming to you, the upgrades that you're going through, the financial upgrades, the upgrades in appearance. It seems like you're in a period of things are starting to pick up and get better and for you. And there's also a sense of like, you don't have to feel like you need to grip onto it for dear life, that it's going to leave you, or just to honor the entire journey and to relax into it, to relax into the expansion. Because I feel like it's a lot in a good way. Like there's a lot of upgrades, up levelings happening, and you can trust that you'll be able to sustain this paradigm, to sustain this reality as things go on. So anything else about overall theme that we should know for group number 1, please? Justice, it's about time. 8 of Wands, King of Cups. Yeah, things are happening very quickly. Lots of expansion energy. I'm getting a sense of ground if you need to. Be careful of burnout. But I feel like you're getting a lot of communication from people maybe. There's a lot of heart communication that's happening. There's a lot of gratitude you're experiencing. But this is saying that you deserve it. Okay, that it's been a long time coming, and that the expansion is just beginning. And you're really feeling that in the month of December. You're probably already feeling it now to some extent, group number 1. But the overall theme is just enjoy it and stay in your heart. Okay. It's interesting that we have drop your shields and we have the King of Cups coming up right underneath, because, where do we tend to shield ourselves is our heart, because we've been disappointed before by people in our lives. And then eventually we just feel disappointed by life in general. But, things are changing, and it's you've done a lot of work to be where you are. And, this is about remaining equanimous as well. So yeah, just you're really working the muscle of learning how to be it's interesting because I was about to say you're learning how to be equanimous when things get good and when things aren't so good. But I feel like you guys are used to things you can thrive in chaos is what I'm feeling. And so this is stay equanimous. Just because it's going good, don't anticipate a rug being pulled out from underneath you, and to just enjoy it. All right. And it's all good. It's good. The scales have tipped, and it really is only the beginning. Good things. I'm wondering what you guys are doing, because it's really excited. It's expansive on the level of the heart, on the level of the soul, with your communications with other people. It's just very expansive, very bright, very even financially, or in terms of your environment is changing and shifting, and just more of a flow is what I'm getting in the month of December. And hey, Sag season. So yeah, if you're communicating a lot or networking a lot, not surprised. Okay. So highlights and milestones for group number 1 in the month of December. We have here and now. I don't accept reversals for this one. We have here and now, and we have a leg up. I'm going to get a little bit of but I can see why that came up in a reverse, because it's so much is happening, and I feel like you guys are really future oriented. You're very about your business. Okay. And so it can be a little bit, that expansive energy can just take us in so many different places. We can just be living in the astrals, or living through our third eye when we're going through a lot of activations. It almost feels like a manic thing. Okay. So just grounding is something that is continuing to be emphasized, but it seems like you're getting some sort of boost in self-esteem or confidence, or you're partnering with brands or something, or you're partnering with someone that has a really big following, or you're doing a collaboration with someone that you really admire. It seems like something really good is coming in. All right. And it's a reflection of how much of this expansion energy you have been in, and just a testimony of how much work you've been doing on yourself. But it seems in some way you're just elevating yourself in a way that other people are going to notice as well. And you're just like, this is me. Like, this is really, I'm just like in this, it feels like very in between. Like you're not quite a past version of yourself. You're not an old version of yourself, but you're not quite like solidified in your future paradigm of when the abundance is like flowing in all the time, like to, you know, whatever degree it's already flowing in, like, and wherever you would like it to be in order to feel comfortable and supported and protected by life, right? It's not quite there yet either, but there's like, you're in an in-between is kind of what I'm getting here. But yeah, people, you're definitely, there's some sort of like leg up. Look at this like face back here. The guides are definitely have a hand in this. Okay, so what else do we need to know about milestones and highlights for December? The Tower, something coming in fast for sure. Maybe even some sort of change, because we did have the here and now come up in reverse. We have the Five of Swords. What is this about? Knight of Swords in reverse. Highlights and milestones. Okay, we have the Lovers in reverse. We have Eight of Cups, and we have King of Wands. I feel like a highlight or a milestone is something that you've probably had some indication of needing to walk away from, is kind of crumbling. And even if you wanted to, I feel like you wouldn't be able to, like, it's like needing to honor whatever this ending is. Because I feel like it has something to do with like, it doesn't really fit this new direction that you're going in. It's almost like a pale reflection of like what it is you really want. And I feel like this area, it's in one particular area of your life and it's obvious to you. It's like something that you already kind of know, like, all right, this is on its way out. And I feel like the way it ends might surprise you, or it just like might end really quickly. Or maybe, you know, there's something about the Tower is like a sense of surprise. Okay. Or just like being surprised at how quick something happened, or it's like you couldn't have stopped it even if you wanted to, kind of thing. But I feel like it wouldn't be something that you're upset about, because it's something that you've kind of known for a while is like not it for you. And it might have been like an impulsive decision you made in the past or something you didn't really like give enough thought about, or, you know, like in terms of where you're going now, I feel like in some way it doesn't really fit the bill. It doesn't fit the description of the person that you've become. Okay. So might be a little bit of conflict, but because it's like coming out as a highlight and a milestone, I feel like it's like, it feels like a breath of fresh air to kind of release this. And the King of Wands is all about like, you know, we like to party, you know, like good, it's all good, you know, good game, good vibes kind of thing, like is here for the thrill of it. And so I feel like, yeah, you're releasing something that doesn't really surprise you. And it's kind of been tethering you. It's kind of been keeping you in that state of like this in some way. Yeah. Okay. That was a little cryptic, but I feel like it'll make sense to you guys as you get there. So next is areas of challenge and growth or growth. We have solar flares activate. I was definitely feeling that with the Eight of Wands energy. We have 11th house community, and we have Chiron with heal. Yeah, it's like there's like great things in store for you. There's really good things happening, and it's almost like there's like a sense of unworthiness, and like you're like, I hope I don't screw this up. Like I hope this can really be it. I feel like you've had a lot of false starts before, where it's like things started getting really good, or you started getting like glimpses of a new reality, and then it was like kind of pulled away from you, or it wasn't very long lasting. Okay, but it's like with that Tower energy and the Eight of Wands, there's so much here being re-emphasized about activations, and things can happen really quickly during activations. Like during activating periods, we can not sleep very well. We can almost be in a sense of like manic. We are not like eating very much. It's like we're really just running on like the fumes of this like activated Kundalini kind of energy, and it can feel really good, like really exciting, really expansive. And I feel like it's a time where you're meeting new people as well. And so I feel like the biggest challenge is like, again, keeps coming back to like staying grounded. And not needing to wonder what all these connections are for, where they're leading to. I feel like the biggest part of why you're meeting so many new people or networking so much is it's just to get you into a new energy field. It's just to get you out of like the past energy, and to get you into like new environments. Really helps to break us out of like when we're doing the same thing over and over again. It really reinstates old versions of ourselves. It really reinstates like old narratives. And so I feel like a challenge for you is like just going with it and not needing to know where something is leading, not needing to know where these new dynamics are leading, these new friendships, relationships, etc. But just go where you feel like the most welcome, to go where it feels the most natural for you to be. And that's like really healing to you. Yeah, let's get a little bit deeper. So areas of challenge or growth for group number 1. Yeah, seeing something from a different perspective. Lovers again. Interesting. Because that was coming up for your highlights, but in a reverse position. 8 of Wands. You know what I'm really getting? I'm getting that it's like this new version of yourself that you're stepping into. You thought that when you got to this point, it's like there's a need to let go of like expectations. With the whole Hanged Man, it's almost like, oh my gosh, how do I explain this? I'm onto something. I can feel it. This is it, but it's so hard to like put this into words. It's almost like, so what I'm getting with the Lovers, symbolically what I'm seeing is that we had for the highlights, it was like in reverse position. And it's almost like those things that you thought that you wanted that weren't really yours. It's like you were making decisions because of like how other people would see you. You know, like this has happened to me so many times where like people don't get why I date some of the people that I do. And it used to get to me and it used to make me question like, oh, am I not seeing my worth or am I settling? But it's like, who the fuck are they to say? You know, like it's me. This is like, you're not making love with them. Like you're not dating them. Like, why do you care? You know? And so like that I feel like is just symbolic for like a highlight is maybe that's part of the Tower, and what you're releasing is that in a big way, this activation energy is like bringing a lot into your field that is like forcing you to let go of those people-pleasing aspects and those aspects of yourself that like is worried about what you're doing, who you're dating, your goals in life, and like making moves based off of how other people will see you or perceive you or interpret it. And you're being like, F you, like I'm just doing me. This is my healing journey. And I feel like it might surprise you of like when you're really honest about what it is that you want, and just really allowing your heart to guide the way, and just like going towards, because during this period, you're going to be, I'm really getting, this is like activated energy. Okay. So it's like, there's going to be a lot happening. Something about the 17th is relevant. Okay. Something about the 17th is really relevant. The 17th of the month. But just go where you're led. And I feel like this is really saying, giving yourself permission this month. An area of growth or an area of challenge is just like leaning into the expansion, leaning into it. There's going to be some anxiety. Okay. It's just like, and it's just how you label it, because expansion energy can be called expansion energy. It can be called excitement energy. It can be called anxiety. It feels the same in the body, but your perception of what it is also influences our experience. So our experiences aren't just what is happening. It's our interpretation and our perception of what's happening. So this is good. There's good things happening, and being aware of the narratives that you're attaching is either going to keep you in a karmic loop that you don't want to be in, that you're ready to move past, or it is going to allow you to release some tethers and some unhealed aspects very quickly. I'm wondering if you do have like something like what your Chiron is in, could be indicative of the area in general that this is happening, the house as well. But this is like overall the biggest challenge in the area of growth, I feel, is being able to see yourself more clearly and to release, you know, just follow what feels good for you. Again, dropping your shields. Like putting on a show for who? Like caring about what you're doing for who? For why? You know, caring about who you date or like where you go, what you do in your spare time, for who? And to just follow what feels the most right and understanding that, you know, life is not going to lead you astray. Okay. And I feel like on the other side, this could even be saying that you're meeting someone that is like a significant counterpart, or a dynamic is deepening or something. But it's caught you a little bit off guard because it's not someone maybe in the past you would have like given yourself permission to explore, or something. Even if it's not a person, this could just be a dynamic. This could just be like a situation. It could just be like an area of exploration. It doesn't have to be a person, but symbolically, I'm just getting it's something that you kind of like, it's an area that brings you deep fulfillment, but maybe in the past you would have not gone towards it because you were like, you know, trying to be something for other people or something. Like that is really what I'm getting. Okay. But this is like in between worlds and solidifying a new paradigm. And it's a really exciting time. There's a lot of expansion. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of rewards. There's a lot of like quickening energy. The 8 of Wands has been coming up throughout this, right? Twice. So this is a really significant energy expansion. People coming in, networking, meeting a lot of new people, lots of DMs. Okay. People showing up in your inbox, people hooting and hollering at you because they can feel these upgrades that you're going through. And I feel like just in general, expanding your sense of community, expanding your network, meeting people from all backgrounds, all different types of talents, doing all different types of things in life. And this is really saying to, you know, really go in that direction, even if you're not sure where it's leading, because it's just helping to solidify you in an energy of expansion, an energy of like, life is supposed to be moving. We're supposed to be having fun. We're supposed to be like adventuring. And you know, the human spirit craves adventure. Without adventure, the human spirit dies. It's a slow, painful death. And so being able to see what you're going through from a different lens is part of your area of growth, part of like your area of challenge, and to, give yourself permission to explore love, you know, all these different opportunities, events that you're being invited to. This is part of your healing journey. You're going to find something so healing in an area that maybe in the past you would have like not leaned into because there was fear of how other people would like, what they would say about you. Okay. But your guides have got you. There's a lot of like, this is a month of like huge up leveling, upgrading, and like very excited. Okay. I'm excited for you. I wonder what's happening, what you guys do in life, because yeah, this is beautiful. I feel like every area of your life is really just expanding. So I'm going to leave this reading here for now. Group number 1. If this resonated with you today, go ahead and leave an apple down below. Okay. Enjoying all of your growth and the rewards that you deserve. Okay. I hope to see you on my channel again soon. Much love, my friends. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading. We're getting into December energies for you. So we have 3 aspects today. The overall theme for the month, we have the highlights and milestones you can expect, as well as areas of challenge and or growth. Also, I just wanted to let you guys know that I am now officially offering my one-on-one breath work and meditation containers. I did a little period where we did donation-based ones, and those were so fun, and I got such amazing feedback. So I'm so excited to offer not just those containers, but longer breathwork journeys as well, where we're really taking a deep dive into the subconscious mind in order to release and to shine light on some karmic patterns, heavier ways of being. You know, every breathwork journey is very different, but it's always been extremely transformational and powerful for me. So I'm very excited to offer that to you guys. And without any more going on about that, you guys can stick around for the shuffling portion, or you can head to my description box and jump right into the reading. Okay. So for those beings that are overseeing the lifetimes of those other beings that are drawn to this pile today, what can they expect for December? What's the overall theme for December? Okay. Now we are asking, what highlights and milestones can group number 2 expect? What highlights and milestones can group number 2 expect? Ooh. But don't let me get ahead of myself, because it's not always like that. Okay, interesting combination there. All right, and lastly, we're getting into areas of challenge and or growth for group number 2. The month of December, areas of challenge and or growth, group number 2. Okay. All right. And we have these here for clarification. Let's get into it. What is the overall energetic theme? We have honor your inner knowing with Medicine Mother, and we have harness mystic power with High Priestess. So very intuitive. Okay, this is the month of December is a very intuitive month for you. Excuse me, I feel like whatever it is that you're creating or whatever it is that you're going out and doing or whatever it is that you're healing or whatever it is that you're exploring, your guides are already shining a light on the absolute importance that you are tuning into your own wisdom above anything else. So maybe this has to do with your career. Maybe this has to do with some sort of like illness or sickness or something that the doctors are saying, you know, like, this could just be symbolic, but this could absolutely be relevant. Like the doctors are saying something of like, this is, you know, what's possible. This is what's happening. And this is what the likelihood is. And this is how you can heal it. And this is maybe not how you cannot heal it, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm guided to bring up this example right now. So I'm going to honor it. But my biological father was diagnosed with liver failure, and they said there was nothing they could do to reverse it, right? Western medicine. And he started doing his research. And so for 6 months, every day, he started drinking dandelion root tea twice a day. He just let it steep like crazy, you know, calling upon ancient herbalism, ancient Chinese medicine. And the doctors were shocked. He went in 6 months later and absolutely reversed it. It was healed. Okay. So that kind of thing of like, if he had listened to someone else's like expertise or their paradigm, then, you know, who knows where he would be, if he would even still be here. So that's kind of what I'm getting. Like, I know that's kind of an intense example, but I feel like that's just at the state or the level that you're currently at. Remembering too, another thing that's coming through is that everyone's operating within their own paradigm. So, you know, another way of saying that is the chakras have different layers or have different paradigms, so different truths. So what might be true to the root chakra might be like elementary and not so true if we're existing at the level of the heart or the third eye, you know? So keeping in mind that we're all operating within different paradigms, and what is true for one might not be true for others. And so it's really important that whatever you're doing, creating, going out and exploring, that you're utilizing your inner knowing above anything else. So let's get a little bit more clear. What does this have to do with exactly, Spirit? What else do we need to know about this energy? Oh, I love when they fall off the table. I love that. Thank you. Okay, what else do we have to know about this? One more card. I'm feeling one more wants to come. And that's the one. Okay, what fell down? Okay, we have the Two of Pentacles. So yeah, something about like, this is something about practicalities in your daily life, okay, with the Two of Pentacles. So like weighing out options of something might be something too, like two paths, two timelines. And this could be saying too that the path or the decision that you're making, most people may not be like, this is like what you should do. But it's important that however you're making your decision or like who's weighing in on it, that you really honor your inner knowing above anything else. Okay, so next we have Eight of Cups. This could have to do with like even walking away from an opportunity or something that people are like, wow, you're crazy for doing that. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't feel right for you. Next we have the Hierophant. Interesting, we have the High Priestess and the Hierophant coming through. Wonder what that has to do. And the Emperor. So I feel like whatever your decision is that you're making, like there's going to be a really clear difference. There's going to be a really clear line in the sand between, you know, this is the Hierophant to me represents externally sourced wisdom. The High Priestess represents internally sourced wisdom. So that's kind of what I was getting, that there's going to be people weighing in saying that this is not the way to go. This is not the right thing to do. You should do A, B, C, and D, but something like about one of the options that your inner knowing is calling you towards, I feel like just for whatever reason seems a lot more exciting and much more like true to you. And so you're just being guided to whatever this decision is that's being highlighted. This could even be like a series of decisions, right? It's where it's either you're making decisions based off what other people want for you, therefore like consistently meeting dead ends, or you're making decisions that actually honor your innermost knowing and, creating something abundant from there, creating something long lasting, something that you're really proud of, and to not underestimate, even if it just seems like so counterintuitive. That's the realm of intuition, the right brain. It doesn't make sense. It's non-linear. We don't always know why, like for whatever reason, this just does not feel right, and it's important to honor those things because you never know what that's leading you towards. And your intuition is really strong in the month of December. So whatever this is, whatever these series of decisions that are, or that, new path, really important to not place other people's opinions or just like tradition, how it's always been done, above what possible, what you deep down know is possible. Okay, so next, what are the highlights? We have soulmates and we have mending. Okay, there's like multiple things that were coming up when I first saw these cards flip over. The first thing is like obviously mending something with someone else, with like a past person, a past thing. But my guides are extremely cryptic, so let's see what this has to do with. They're very, like, they use a lot of symbology. Okay, what else? Is there anything else we need to know about this energy? There's a lot. Spirit's like, there's a lot I need you to know about this energy. Okay. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, you could be healing your relationship to love in general. Or that's like a highlight. You're just seeing how, I feel like what the symbology coming through here is that you're like you're doing things based off of your own terms more in the month of December. And so it's healing an aspect of yourself that you had like relinquished. It's healing that aspect of yourself that you placed other people's perspectives and other people's opinions above your own. So I'm seeing a lot of symbols related to my own life story. So I'm just going to share this one example that's coming through. So for example, when I was, I was like 19, I had like met someone at boarding school, and this was like my first love. And like he lived in Arizona, I lived in Alaska, and my grandparents actually they were snowbirds. They actually had, which is funny, they had like a winter home in Arizona, like 40 miles from where he lived. So I ended up moving in with him after boarding school because we like fell madly in love with each other. And long story short, like I still think about the important lesson that I learned from this, but essentially like we weren't ready to like stop exploring our dynamic, but the adults weighed in, and the adults essentially, said that we weren't right for each other, yada, yada. And when I look back at that version of myself, I know I learned what I needed to learn, but to this day, my most important takeaway from that, because there's so many, especially in terms of romance, but my most important takeaway is I will never like relinquish my sense of what I want in life just because it does not fit what other people think is right for me, or just because it's inconvenient for someone else, or just because, their ideas of what I should be, or, who I should love, or what I should do with my life does not fit. So that's like to this day, and this happened 12 years ago. I haven't seen this person, 11, 12. And to this day, that's like a lesson that I consistently go back to. I just saw 11:11 on the clock as well. So powerful energies, maybe something similar. It doesn't have to do with love, but that's just like the main symbol. It's like you're healing that part of yourself that gave up the things that you really cared about, that were really part of your destiny at some point. And everything happens for a reason, and we learn the lessons that we're supposed to. Yes. And it's like mending that part of yourself that maybe does the same thing, that puts other people's opinions above your own. And so at the end of the day, you're the one that's left high and dry with that 8 of Cups. You're the one that's left like feeling like you're maybe walking away from things that you're not ready to, or that you didn't really want to. But it's like, I feel like there's something in the month of December that is kind of shedding light or bringing into your awareness that similar codology. And it could be with a romantic dynamic, or it could be with just something that is just like you have always loved and you had always cared about. But maybe, that happens even when we're younger. Like we're an artist or something. And then our parents are like, that's not going to get you anywhere. Like, what the fuck are you, like, like you're going to school, you're going to focus on studies, that kind of thing. So that's mending that part of yourself. And so you're really harnessing even more of your highest self, your highest version. You're really tuning into your most authentic self in a really big way. I really feel like you're solidifying these new codes of freedom, because the more we align with our soul's blueprint, the more that we just feel free to exist in who we are, and we're like shameless in our expression. So yeah, I do feel like, because we have the 2 of Swords and the 2 of Pentacles come up, I do feel like there's a decision to be made for sure. And it has something to do with your external reality. And I feel like the only reason you might maybe in the past felt like it's hard to make decisions is because there's a part of you that knows deep down where you want to go. And then there's like a more rational part of you that kind of overrides that. Okay. So you're really being encouraged to not override it and to follow, the voice of your soul above anything else. You can meditate and breathe with me too, the month of December, because I can really curate a session for you where it's really right brain activating. And then we can even ask the question before the session, like, what's the best case scenario? What should I do? We'll breathe, activate those brain regions, those brain functions. And then in our meditation, I would not be surprised if you have something really powerful come through either within that session or like the next day. Sometimes it comes through for me the next day. Like, just for an example, like I was needing to make this video on my main channel, and it ended up being like 50 minutes. And I was like, okay, I need to make this video. Like, I'm partnering with this brand, and they're expecting it this time. And like, I also want to release it because it's like talking about all this, how to connect with your higher mind, etc. And I actually did a like 45-minute breath and meditation container the night before. And like that same day I tried to film it, and it turned out like, I was like, no, I can do better. Like, this is not it. And I was like, come on, spirit, like, I don't want to force it. I know you can't force these things, but I really want this, to be good, to be powerful and impactful. And then the next morning I woke up and I channeled like the whole freaking video in just like within 10 minutes. It was crazy. So that kind of thing. Do not underestimate the power of this stillness and just ask and you shall receive, right? Knock and the door shall be opened. So we have the Emperor coming up again, the Knight of Cups. This is really like, you're really, there's a path that is really charming. There's a path that's really alluring. This is like really showing you how even the smallest hit of intuition can really transform things for you in a short amount of time. Okay. And so this is really saying to be firm in what decision you do end up making. Let's see. We have Death in reverse, and we have the High Priestess again. So in terms of highlights and milestones, I feel like it's going to be really, it's almost very enticing that you will, or not enticing, but likely the feeling of making decisions in that old way, the way that you used to, I feel like is there. Like, I almost feel like there's something where you almost choose the path that is like the less fulfilling, and then you decide last minute, like, never mind, like, I'm going to follow this. This is much more like, I don't know what it is about this, but because you have had so many pages come up, I feel like it's kind of innocent. It feels like a very curious and innocent path, but it has potential. Okay. And so because we do see the page into the night, I do feel like you do end up choosing that path that is the most intuitive, because the fish in the cup represents our intuition, our intuitive hits. And it's like, it can slip out so fast. It can slip away from us so fast, but I feel like you're leaning into it. You're choosing to go on that path. And then very quickly you're seeing how fulfilling it is to make decisions in that sort of way. Okay, sorry, I had to pause that really quick because the whole house decided to wake up at the same time. So, okay, but it's cool because I was getting some more intuitive insight as I was waiting. But High Priestess, honoring your inner knowing, intuitively sourced wisdom is reiterated here. And I feel like a highlight might be something that you were like, that ended, that you weren't ready to let go of, or that was kind of disappointing. Maybe even something similar to the example I gave, where someone was like, you shouldn't do this. Like, this is not what you should do, but it's just what felt right for whatever reason. I feel like that might be remerging. Okay. And like, having another type of start that feels like, innocent, or like, another, like a fault, something that was a false start before, is coming in, and you have a new start. You have a new opportunity to approach it from a different way. Again, could be a person, but could also just be like a job, or something that you tried, like a career endeavor or something, to where you started it, someone had something to say about it, it kind of got to your head, but you weren't ready like to fully let go of that. And your intuition keeps pulling you back, right? Yeah, when your intuition keeps pulling you back to something, there's definitely something relevant to explore there, for sure. Okay, so even if it's not exactly in the way that we think, like it might not always be like, oh, that means I'm supposed to go back to this person, but there's something there that might not have been fully digested that you need to learn, you know? Okay, so lastly, we're getting into the areas of challenge and growth. Solar flare, interesting. The first pile also had activations. Yeah, it seems like the people drawn to my channel really go through similar, like we be going through similar stuff, because I had major activations from the end of October all the way till now. I'm finally coming to a grounded place, but it has been off the charts. Like, don't be surprised if it's like you're not sleeping very well, if you're not eating very well, like the sleep is off, but you still like have so much energy, and it kind of feels like you're existing in an altered state of consciousness, like an altered like an alternate dimension. Abundance. This is beautiful. I've never actually seen this card. Yeah, I feel like you're really... Okay, before I get too far, and we have Mercury of Messages. Yeah, there's so much... Okay, this is like, heed what is coming through. Like, the voice of your soul, the wisdom of your soul is talking to you big time in the month of December. Like, you're getting a ton of intuitive downloads, intuitive hits. And I feel like the biggest, because this is coming up for the challenge area, I feel like this is trusting it. Trusting that it's just not like a manic idea you're having, or trust that it's like something that can carry you through. Let's get a little bit more information before I go too far. What is this energy? There's the Death in reverse again. So interesting. And y'all saw that flipped up in reverse position. It's so crazy. Lovers, interesting. I was feeling that energy. Let's see, what else does that have to do with? Five of Cups. We have the Devil. We have Nine of Swords. And we have the Two of Pentacles again. The only time you regret decisions, it's like, I made a video about this a while ago on my main channel. It's like the decisions that we make that will haunt us, or the decisions that for whatever reason we know, and we don't always know in the moment why, but it's like, for some reason I'm guided to go in this direction. For some reason I'm guided to do this, but the devil in our heads gets the best of us, and we make a different decision, or we go against our inner knowing. This has happened to me in so many ways I can't even tell you, but it's like, this feels right, or like I have something presented in me or in front of me, and like it's a yes inside, but I say no. That's a decision that will haunt me. Or if it's a no externally and I say yes, that's a decision that will haunt me. Or it has the opportunity. You know, I'm not one to think that anything is like, we just have an eternity to play. You know what I mean? So it's like, no big deal. We'll learn what we got to learn. But I am hearing that there's similar energy that's coming up, because the Death came up in this section too of soulmates, and lovers represent soulmate type of energy. So a challenge might be really giving yourself permission to follow these messages, to follow your internal guidance. Is really like, not only are you super connected, it's just challenging for you to trust what's coming through, but there's like an abundance of love, of opportunities. There's abundance of like, you're having the opportunity to undo a lot of mental narratives, or this is telling me that you're going to be facing a lot of these mental narratives, because whatever this is symbolic for, whether it is a person or whether it's a career path, it's really clear that it was like, we weren't ready to fully let go yet. We didn't assimilate all of the messages. We didn't fully assimilate all of like the insights that we needed from it. And so it's kind of left us in this place of feeling haunted by it, feeling haunted by the memories of whatever this was. And I feel like again, we have the most challenging part is making a decision, choosing between two paths, between two people, and really honoring. I feel like it's so clear. It's so clear in the month of December, like what needs to be done, what path needs to be taken. It's so clear, but for whatever reason, it's like there is still that tether to those like demons in your head, those devils in your head, those, you know, past versions, echoes of your past, echoes of past people, or like past, you know, situations that happen in a similar way, you know, something similar. But yeah, so this might be okay. We're getting a little bit, you know, over the time for these ones, but I'm guided to leave one more example. And it's like, even in for example, just like how I've had people in my life be like, why are you dating that person? Like, that doesn't make, like, you know, it doesn't make sense, maybe according to society's standards or whatever. Like, you know, the people that I partner with is not something that happens on a superficial level. It's very soulful, and it's very clear that there is work to be done. There's like soul contract to be done, and that there's work to be had. And so, that's actually been a pattern in my own life, is people being like, why are you like, and if sometimes I have let those voices get to me, and I have just like, it's created things in my field that don't need to be there. But it's like, you know, it's not your person. Like, you're not, you know, kissing them under the sheets or anything, you know, like, why do you care? So that's just a symbol I was guided to use, because the less that I've like cared about those voices, and the more that I just honor what just feels right, and honor the contracts that are there, because I do understand I make decisions a lot differently than other people. I'm not making decisions from the level of just like the 3D plane of reality, which is a narrow consciousness to exist within. The more you expand your awareness, the more that you include different levels and layers of reality. And so, you know, the more blissful states of reality require a more finely tuned awareness. That also means that you're making decisions more from the place of the soul, and less of the place of the ego. So the way that you're making decisions is a lot different than people. And so, you know, they can have their opinions, but don't let it create scenarios over and over again to where it's like you're betraying yourself, because there's a big opportunity. And this is just the start of really seeing that what happens when you put those voices where they belong, in the trash. Sorry. But when you put them where they belong, then you really start to live a life of like deep fulfillment. And I do feel like this is a big month for you. This is a big activation month. And I feel like whether it's a person or situations, whatever, this is going to bleed into all other areas of your life, to where you're getting the message and you're seeing what happens, how much comes to you when you're just honoring your inner self above anything else. Because my whole life path is very different even from what like my family would have probably wanted, like the family I grew up with. But I was miserable when I tried living life on their terms. And I've never been more fulfilled. I've never felt more abundant. I never felt so much more clear and connected to spirit. And that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, is more and more you're mending that relationship you have with yourself, where you're kind of like, this is a month where simultaneously there's a grieving of an old version of yourself that's being floated, that's being, you know, released. And then there's version of yourself that was like, has been waiting to come up, has been waiting to come to the surface, has been waiting to really take the lead on your life, is coming through. Okay. And it's like, let's not resist it. And there might be some anxiety that you feel with activation energy. And again, it's like how excitement and anxiety feels in the body is the same, but it's our narratives and the things we're attaching, like the narratives and the stories we attach to that energy, is also part of our experience. So our experiences have to do not only with what's happening to us, but it actually has to do with our levels of perception, our interpretation of what's happening. So attach a positive narrative to this. But this is big, and I'm excited to see how this is applying or going to unfold for you, and how, like, what exactly this has to do with you, because it's very clear with all the pentacles, the ace and the twos that keep coming up. There's like, you know, something that is shifting in your external reality, the way that you live, the way that you be, the way that you carry yourself, the opportunities you're calling in, that what you're saying yes to is a lot different than maybe what it was up until this point in time. But it's like, yeah, this is happening. I'm so excited for you guys. Thank you so much for sticking around. If this was your pile today, go ahead and leave like your favorite cat emoji down below to represent the High Priestess energy. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you guys soon. Much love. Hey, group number 3, welcome to your reading about December energies. 3 aspects to these readings. We're going to dive into the overall theme for the month, any highlights or milestones you can look forward to, as well as areas of challenge and or growth. So really quick, I just want to let you guys know that I have officially opened my private one-to-one breath and meditation containers. Really great for helping to cultivate awareness on a daily basis into the higher chakras. It doesn't happen by itself, on accident, or on its own. In order to consistently expand our consciousness and our awareness, we need to be practicing consistently and engaging in things that help to polish the third eye, so to speak. So I've opened up those containers, and I've also opened up breathwork journey containers where they're much longer, and it's specifically breathwork. And this is where we remove the layer between the conscious and the subconscious in order to shed light in a really powerful way on karmic patterns, distortions, behaviors, etc. So if you are interested, I would highly recommend checking that out, because these have been extremely powerful containers of transformation for people that I've been doing this for, even just a short amount of time. It's been so powerful. So if that resonates, go check it out. We're going to get right into the reading. You can stick around for this portion. I've connected with the guides of those souls that are overseeing or that are tuning into this group today. So those overseers, we're asking what's the overall theme for those souls drawn to group 3 today. Okay, month of December. Next, we would like to know what are the highlights or milestones that group number 3, those souls, can look forward to the month of December. Clear, concise, accurate messages, please. Oops. Okay. Next, areas of challenge or growth for those souls drawn to this pile today, please, Spirit. Areas of challenge or growth. Areas of challenge or growth for those souls. Okay. And these are here for clarification. We'll get into it. The overall theme for the month of December, we have Moon. Take note of intuitive messages. Really common theme. We have Protection Guardian, drop your shields. And you guys, this card wanted to come up, and I keep being drawn to it. So I'm going to pull this out because it flipped over. And yeah, I'm getting to take this. So, and we also have Connect with Your Emotions. Okay, so 2 Guardian cards. So your guides are really present in this month. There are like important decisions to be made, or just important up-levelings, upgrades, realizations that you're going to have in the month of December that really require you or that are encouraging you to just be more aware of what you're receiving from the realms of spirit. It's interesting too with the drop your shields. There's something here about just like being in the feminine, connecting with the emotions, being in the feminine. I'm hearing something about like workaholics or people that are just used to being in their masculine energy, whether male or female, doesn't matter. Masculine energy wants to fix, it wants to do, it wants structure, logic, reasoning. The realms of the feminine really want to just be, right? The masculine wants to fix, the feminine just is. She just wants to be, okay? And so this is a month where you're really being encouraged to tune into your emotions, to come back into your body is what I'm hearing is really important, especially for my male-bodied individuals, okay? But even for beings that have just been through trauma or that have deregulated nervous systems, you know, that message that I left earlier or at the beginning of this video about breathing and meditating, I highly recommend joining me for one of those containers if that resonates, because this is why I'm offering them, because I have noticed such insane transformation and from these things, and intuition lives in our body. Our emotions live in our body. The reason why I said that, you know, males just have been known to have a harder time connecting with their emotions in general. They're much more logic than in the mind, and women tend to be much more connected with their emotions, or female-bodied individuals, I should say, and emotions live in the body and intuition lives in the body. So that's why it's like naturally a lot easier for female-bodied individuals to connect with their intuition. But regardless, I'm just hearing something about a lot of masculine energy that is not going to be super helpful in the month of December for whatever reason. Let's get deeper. So what does this have to do with, please, Spirit? Okay, lovers. I love that. There's been a lot of that coming up. Queen of Swords, communication, Two of Swords, some sort of decision to make that really requires you to be firm and to speak from the level of the heart, okay? And to not be worried about hurting other people's feelings, All right, but there's something here about a decision to be made. It could have to do with love, lovers. In general, this is also symbolic for just the parts, or the lovers. To me, my guides break it down symbolically for, yes, of course, like counterparts, whether romantic or not, but also this is just like happily ever after. So those things in life that you feel like are too good to be true, but like deep down your soul wants you to go towards. That's what the Two of Wands represents as well. It's a decision to be made, and the decision that you make, like you're making that decision from the sacral, from the center of your passion, from the center of your emotions. Okay, so what feels the most right, and so there's a decision to be made. And one of the options is logic, which is that masculine energy that you're being encouraged away from, or encouraged to not make a decision from at this time. And one lives in the body. One is the feminine. One is the intuition. And so, yeah, this is pretty straightforward, and it might have to do with you communicating to someone a change of heart, or communicating in some way that you're going down this new path, and to know that as long as you're speaking from your heart, and as long as you're doing your best to tune into your soul's resonance and to follow the highest path. I mean, you can't fool God. You can't fool your guides. They know your heart. They know when you're doing your best. They know when you're really just like wanting to make the most of your life and to really actualize on your soul's intention for taking birth. So that the decisions you make from that level are divinely protected. Okay, it's generally the decisions that we make that we kind of go against our highest wisdom that, you know, have those repercussions. And we only have an eternity to play. So I never say that to like make people like worried or fearsome or anything, because that's not going to benefit anyone. But I am hearing that it's just important to know that the decisions that we make that we later on regret are the decisions that went against our intuition and went against what our emotional body felt. Okay, this could even have to do with like making decisions about a lover or something. Like I've had that. I just recorded a video about this on TikTok, but like I'm getting something of like noticing how the decisions you make based off your conditioning and the decisions you make based off of your soul's resonance, those are two very different types of decisions. Just like the lovers and friends you choose based off conditioning, and the lovers and friends you choose based off of your soul's resonance are two very different types of people. And it's so crazy because generally it says people that like are, I don't know, the most charming, charismatic, they check all the boxes, you know, they're like society's, you know, what everyone was like, yeah, I'll go for that, generally are the ones that leave me the most disappointed, unappreciated, feeling underappreciated, you know, just like used in some way. And it's those ones that I'm like, this just feels right. I know it's like completely like maybe not normally what society or other people could understand, but this is what feels right, and I'm going to go for that. And that's what generally leaves me feeling the most fulfilled. And just, you know, and this applies to so many different areas. It could be career as well. Like definitely that applies, you know, I can relate to all of this in all different areas, but the decisions you make from the level of soul, intuition, feeling, resonance are always going to be much different than the decisions you make from the level of the ego. And the ego to me is just conditioning, right? It's like who you became, the ideas and the things that you've adopted, the ways of seeing the world, perceptions, realities, identities that you've adopted that weren't actually yours to begin with. That's the ego. It's not like this big, mean, ugly thing. It's just like the not self. It's just like the not true reflection of yourself. So definitely a decision to be made, or you're just like kind of seeing like, wow, I see how when I'm, you know, making decisions from this level, I'm much more authentic. I'm much more truthful. Things just flow. I can just like be my natural self is what the Queen of Swords is. Like her natural expression just flows through. But definitely decisions, or a series of decisions you'll notice that really pay attention to, because I wouldn't be surprised if you have like a big like thing, like decision to make, even if it's in terms of like where you're spending your energy. If you're like dating or something, and there's multiple people you're seeing, it's like, go for the one that just like feels the most right, even if it's like, you know, for whatever reason, out of the options, it's the person that is like the most unassuming, but they're humble. They're just like thoughtful. They see you as a soul and not just like as a boost to their image, that kind of thing. So that's just like one area that could apply to. Okay. So let's get deeper. Let's get into the highlights and milestones for this month. We have To the Sea, so more about being in emotions, because I saw this try to flip over, and then when I saw this come up, I'm like, oh yeah, that was relevant. So being in your emotions, maybe even cleansing by the sea. I feel like this is you just like having a new sense of like depth and like you're feeling calm, right? It's like, even though the depths of you are deep, it's like you're learning how to surf the waves of your emotions so much better. Unfinished symphony, highlights and milestones. So yeah, let's get a little bit deeper, Spirit. What does this have to do with? Something that you like worked on before, or that you kind of invested in maybe in some sort of way, is like resurfacing. And I feel like it most certainly has to do with the fact that you're leaning into intuition much more. You know, there's so much emotion in this month already with all of the water imagery that I'm not surprised that it's sparking new creativity. Okay, so what does this have to do with? This highlights and milestones. Okay, so we have the High Priestess coming through, not surprised. So much here about intuition. We have the Hermit, not surprised. Meditation. Yeah, it's like you're returning to something that you've worked on before with a new sense of conviction, a new sense of wisdom. It's like you're returning to something that really has mattered to you in the past. I feel like it has something to do with career or work or side hustle or something, with a new sense of like empowerment. Let's see, what does this have to do with? Can we clarify Seven of Pentacles? Yeah, maybe you guys have tried something before and it was like, I'm getting a sense justice. Yeah, it's like something that you were like excited about doing, or you wanted to invest your energy in, but let's move this up. But it just like wasn't the right time or something. And now that you've like cleansed and you've been like working on tuning into your body more, or you're, you know, doing embodiment techniques or methods, or, you know, it's like you're becoming much more receptive to the wisdom of your soul. And so something that keeps calling to your soul, that's what our soul's calling is. You could say it's like those things that keep calling back to us of like, wow, it would be so cool if. It's like you're returning to something with a newfound sense of rejuvenation and a new perspective. And the scales have tipped. It's like before there was a little sense of unreadiness. Like you weren't really ready to settle into this thing, or there was some imposter syndrome that might have gotten the best of you. And it's like you're now returning to this with a new sense of, you know, the Hermit is self-sourced wisdom, right? The light from the lantern, the light that emanates and guides his way, is a light that was created by himself, was because he went through the darkness. He went through the journey. He went through the mountain, you know, through the journey on his own to the top of the mountain, and now has a new perspective of something. And the High Priestess is self-sourced wisdom. Like the Hierophant is externally sought wisdom. The High Priestess is all about intuition. Like it's coming through you, ruled by Pisces too. So a lot of water here, a lot of connection to like that Cancerian energy. Whether or not you even have that in your chart doesn't matter. This is just like what is, you might even notice that you're drawn, or like you like get a lot of Pisces, or like people that have those placements like Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. It's interesting because the past like month I've met so many people whose birthdays are like the same day as Maya's, my daughter. She's March 6th, she's Pisces. Or I'm just like drawing in so many Pisces, and I'm a Virgo, you know? And so sometimes I feel like the people, when we notice a lot of signs come into our life, like a lot of sun signs, or people with just like a lot of placements in water signs in general, for example, there's something there. It's like they're meant to bring to you something. They're meant to show you something, or to teach you something. So you're learning flow. You're learning to be less rigid. You're learning to just trust the way of things, because I feel like you have structure. I feel like you've really learned your masculine element. And so now it's like bringing the feminine into, it's like seeing something from a different perspective is really what I'm getting to this new, or to this calling that you might have dabbled in before in a different way. Okay, because the sea kind of reminds me of like going on vacation. You know, you take a break from something, and it's like when you're least expecting it, you get a really great breakthrough or a really great download in terms of like that work project, or in terms of that workshop, or like something that really matters to you. You like take some space from it, and by the time you come back, it's just like you're a new person. And because we do have strength, this does tell me that this is an area where you have met some obstacles internally, maybe even externally, but this is mainly the internal obstacles. The Chariot is more of those external. So there's a lot of internal stuff that has been shifting, internalized kind of growing and growth, and becoming more serious about your soul's calling and your direction and your path, and wanting to be more fulfilled, and wanting to live more from the level of grace, and allowing your higher self to speak to you and then to guide you from there. So really powerful. So yeah, highlights as you're returning to something with a new sense of like conviction and empowerment and like more ideas. I am getting the sense of there's like a lot of ideas. You're feeling really connected to yourself, to like your higher self, and maybe you're even like engaging in practices that help bring you into your body. Okay, so yeah, check out my offerings if it does resonate. I would not, you know, sleep on your intuition. I would really, don't underestimate the power of like, you know, one session sitting down. So many breakthroughs can come in. Like the other day, I was like marinating on a video to make for my main channel, in terms of like how to connect with your higher mind, the science and the spirit behind connecting to the higher mind to align with the destiny. And I like couldn't find the angle. I like couldn't figure out what I was going to talk about. I knew the overall like theme. And then I went into a container the night before, 45 minutes, breath, meditation. And then I had a major breakthrough. And before, like the day before, I tried to film and I did, and it was okay. And I was like, this doesn't feel right. And then I went to that meditation and I was like, okay, please give me something. And then the very next day I woke up and then channeled the entire 50-minute video. Like I had, the notes just came out, just like flew out of me, you know, and I know it was because I made space. I created the conditions, the proper conditions, for that higher wisdom to come through and to speak to me. So that's really what I'm getting, is by you guys doing that, by creating the proper space for spirit to come and speak to you, that you're getting those kinds of insights, into things that really matter, into your work, into what it is that you feel like you want to leave behind on this planet. So lastly, areas of challenge and growth. We have 8th house mystery. There's that Scorpio energy. I was wondering, because we had Pisces and Cancer come through. Now we have Scorpio. So very watery. Semi-square. I'm not even going to try to say quincunx. Tension, mystery, tension, and clarify. Calm. Yeah, I'm getting with this like sea energy. There is a lot of clarity for sure. There's a lot of calm is really what I'm getting. That's what I noticed with the sea. The first thing I noticed, I'm like, oh yeah, that feels very like really calm. So the challenge I feel like is to, I feel like it's just uncomfortable for you to like live at such a level of going with the flow, and maybe you're even being forced into a situation where you don't really know how it's going to turn out. There's like a degree of mystery around it, like you don't know how it's going to unfold, and so it's creating, again, because the main theme of this month was dropping your shields, learning how to relax, learning how to trust the flow of things. And so now you're kind of, a challenge might be you're forced into this space where you have like really no choice. And, you know, it doesn't happen because we're being punished, but it happens because this is what our soul wanted. This was one of the lessons that your soul wanted, is like, how can I trust, you know, spirit to lead me in this third dimensional reality where everything seems so real, where everything seems so solid. And one thing that we tend to forget when we're living from those realms is when you are guided by intuition, it like surpasses time and space. And so you can collapse timelines. Truly, it's like you're down in this maze trying to make your way about, and you have your like a walkie-talkie, you know, connected to your higher self, and they're trying to tell you, hey, go this way, go that way. That's your intuition. And you can like make it through what you're meant to make it through a lot quicker. You know, we only have an eternity to play, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But, you know, I feel like you guys are at a point to where you're like, all right, let's get this show on the road. And so it just might be a little bit uncomfortable or unnatural because there is this, you know, deep connection to your masculine energy, which I'm not, you know, I'm sure it has a reason and it serves its purpose. For sure. But this is about like really relaxing, releasing tension, and seeing how much, you know, that's one thing that like my masculine energy, because I really resonate with having more masculine than feminine, or being more naturally in tune with my masculine energy than my feminine. And one thing that my masculine energy loves, or the aspect of myself loves, is that when I am tuning into the feminine and receiving her messages and then acting on it from that place of masculinity, which is like going out, doing it. My masculine loves the results from that level, because it's like when I'm just doing it based off logic, reason, etc., it doesn't flow as well, and it's just like icky. It just feels like rigid. But when the feminine is guiding the way, the results that come from that are just like so incredible, powerful, instantaneous almost, and just like above and beyond what I could have created alone. Okay, so what does this have to do with areas of challenge and growth? Anything else you want to know about it, please? 8th house mystery. So yeah, being okay with the mystery. We have 4 of Cups. We have the universe. Yeah, completing of a cycle. This is really like a big transformation is what I'm getting, or a new way of relating to yourself, a new way of existing. Big upgrade kind of energy is what I'm feeling with the universe card, completion of a cycle. It's like when we're making decisions from the level of the mind, again, that's the Four Cups kind of energy. We're kind of apathetic. It's like, you know, it's cool. We're getting opportunities, or, you know, certain people are like handing their cup out, but like we're kind of, you know, it's just, we're making decisions from a different place now, you know? And so what once our like rational, logical minds might have chosen, we're being guided to choose in a different way. Okay, that's a big theme for you. Next, we have the Knight of Wands coming up again. So challenge is releasing that kind of like, yeah, I feel like it's releasing this idea that you're not being taken seriously, or that you can't take yourself seriously, or you can't take your intuition seriously, or it's not really a thing. You know, it works for some people, but it can't work for me. That's not true. It's not true. Everyone has intuition. It's just about actively cultivating the intuition, or cultivating, creating the spaces necessary so that your intuition can speak to you, and learning how to trust it from there. Lastly, we have the Queen of Pentacles wanting to come up in a reverse position. I don't know if I just flipped it over in a weird way, but I'll just take note of that. So like patience here, okay, is important. Patience, knowing that being in your body too is going to be, I feel like, kind of challenging, and having patience overall is what I'm getting, because the Queen is the ultimate embodiment of the feminine, right? Go with the flow. And then she's the ultimate beacon, or archetype, I should say, of patience and, you know, slow and steady. There's no end to get to. There's no finish line to get to. So maybe you guys are in a state of in-between kind of right now, where you're kind of like in between, right? Kind of like that Two of Swords stalemate type of energy. And where you want to go from here, I feel like it's much different. Like what's going to take you there is going to require you to make decisions a lot differently than you have been, and require you to be in your body, to really be able to connect to your emotional guidance system is what it's called. That's like, your heart is like an emotional radar. You know, you have an electromagnetic field that is like, what is it? Like thousands times more like stronger than that of your brain, the electromagnetic, speaking in terms of electromagnetic fields. And you can trust the resonance from there. You have like, this is a journey where we really have to learn how to trust our own intuitive heart above anything else. It's such a personal journey. The higher you go, you know, with the High Priestess, the Hermit, you're at a point to where it's like your guides are really wanting to shift your focus into trusting yourself and the internal messages, intuitive messages you get, more than you do outside sources, tarot, other people's opinions, other people's perspective, what's worked for other people, and to really let yourself, like, give yourself permission to explore the mystery of this, and to be like a beginner, and to see things from the eyes of a child, which is just so trusting and so naturally connected to their intuition, their emotions. And yeah, so this is good. Like rebirth energy is really what I'm getting, and really coming in, letting the water flow, tears, laughter, being around sweet people, you know, that bring the best out of you, etc. So I hope this brought clarity, confirmation, and peace to your heart today. If this was your reading, go ahead and leave a moon or a feather emoji down below if it feels right. If you don't want to comment anything else, give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, I hope to breathe with you and meditate with you soon if this did resonate for you today. Much love.